Hi, I'm Nicholas Seminario, founder of Dark Angel Company. This podcast is to share the untold stories of just a few of the many people battling mental illnesses in this world. If you're in need of a little inspiration to keep fighting or to feel less alone in your battle, keep listening and share to spread awareness. This is the Dark Angel Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Dark Angel Podcast. I hope you guys had a great holiday season, whether it was whatever you guys are celebrating. I hope you guys had a great new year. That's actually going to be our topic today. Personally, I'm someone who's not a huge fan of New Year's resolutions, and there's a little backstory as to why, so I'll get into that briefly. I feel New Year's resolutions are something where people set these goals and these extremely high expectations, and then after a week, it's like, I'm not doing it anymore. So I don't like that. I think there's a different way to approach New Year's and New Year's resolutions. But before we get into that, how was your Christmas and how was your New Year's?
It was good. I just kind of hung out with family.
Yeah, good.
Kept it low-key. What about you?
Good. Yeah, we had a nice time. It was quiet. We had a decent-sized Christmas party. We had a bunch of family over. Same thing for New Year's. We just kept it low-key. But it was definitely a nice break. I definitely appreciated the break and appreciated the time to myself. I've been doing a lot of thinking and almost in a form of meditation. I've been working on myself a lot. Been going to the gym. I've been really practicing what I'm preaching. I'm trying to constantly think positively, just change my way of thinking even more than I have in the past. So I guess in a sense it is a New Year's resolution, but we're going to get into how to not stop those New Year's resolutions or how to continue with these things that we're trying to improve in ourselves. Have you set any New Year's resolutions, or would you say, what's your thought on New Year's resolutions?
I mean, I'm a fan of resolutions. I get it. I think it's cool. It's a good reason. It's good to focus on yourself, and work to improve yourself. But I personally am not big on New Year's resolutions. Okay. And look, I just want to preface this. This isn't going to be an episode where we're just bashing New Year's resolutions, because I honestly think the idea behind them is awesome. I think we should always try and improve who we are as people. But I think we also need a little work on it. I think we could go about it in a different way. I think sometimes we push the envelope, and I think sometimes we set these goals so high where it's really hard to reach. Is there anything you're looking forward to accomplishing in 2023? Yeah, just kind of like taking the next steps for me personally, kind of getting out there and like officially moving out and getting out on my own. That's like my big goal, but that wasn't something that came about because of New Year's.
Yeah, this is something.
Resolution. Yeah.
Okay. Something you've been thinking about. Well, my goal for this year is to really push this stuff. I really would love to see this flourish and grow in so many different ways. I'm really trying. So instead of me just saying I want this, I'm really putting in the work, I'm putting in the effort, I'm putting in the time, which I think is a huge aspect of New Year's resolution. You got to put in the work, you have to put in the time. It's not something that is just going to happen overnight, and I'm aware of that. I'm aware I have to put in a lot of effort, and that's just the reality of things. That would probably be my number one goal this year, is to really see this grow and get to a new level. As I've said, I'm going to be posting every week starting, I believe, next week. This is probably going to come out maybe the end of January now that I'm doing it every week. So I think it's fitting. We'll see those of us who have kept on those New Year's resolutions, right, by the time it's the end of the month, or those of us who, like I feel like all of us normally do, we just ditch them by the second or third week of the month, and then it's like, all right, we're going to be back to normal.
It'll be good timing, too. It'll catch the people who kind of fell off right in the beginning.
Exactly.
Bring them back.
Exactly. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but we redid the podcast room, so I hope you guys like that, and this is another adage to the visual effect of the entire podcast. I think it's something that's really cool. It really represents me. I feel like this is, it's becoming me, which I really love.
The room looks awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. And I hope you guys think the same thing. I want to also start by saying this is something that I have struggled with in the past, New Year's resolutions. And I feel like a lot of you guys possibly have. I don't want to assume anything, but I'm someone who likes to set these goals and set these expectations. And this is why I've come to grow to not love New Year's resolutions. And it's partially my own fault because I have set these expectations and then I wind up letting myself down. And that's my fault. It's nobody else's fault. But, I expect things to go into this new year and I expect it to be something so spectacular and then I'm let down. So I don't know how you feel about that. Has there ever been any experiences where you were let down about a New Year's resolution or, something you were like, oh, this is stupid. I don't even want to bother partaking in it.
Yeah, where you kind of set a goal for yourself and you just kind of fall off.
Yeah.
And you get mad that you fell off, but then you don't want to do anything about it, because you're mad.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there.
Yeah.
I think that like a traditional resolution can be a little bit difficult because of that.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to kind of keep you going.
Yeah.
But we'll get into more of what a better version of that would be.
Yeah, exactly. So getting into that, I personally, what I used to do was set these extremely unrealistic goals, right? These big goals, these unrealistic goals. And all I would do is let myself down, right? And then I'd be upset and I'd be mad. Oh, it's not going my way. It's not going my way. Something I started doing, I guess I started it last year, but I would say I more implemented it into my life this year, or this past year, within the last few months, would be setting smaller goals, right? So I'm not setting these giant goals and then not getting to that giant goal. I'm setting smaller, more realistic goals. Then I get to slowly work my way up to it. Not even necessarily slowly. It's just something
step by step.
Exactly. I'm not jumping and skipping steps. One thing that I've always believed, and I am a firm believer in this, and my mom says this to me all the time, it's the journey. Enjoy the process. The destination is great, but once you get there, it's just the destination. The journey is what really makes you who you are throughout that journey, right? So even with what I'm doing right now, I could easily just be like, oh, I just want it to be, huge. And of course I want it to be big. I would love nothing more than to be able to help people and change people's lives, of course. But it doesn't happen overnight. And if it did, you wouldn't appreciate the process that's happening and that's coming, right? Like if you look at where I was recording a year ago, I was recording in my bedroom with 2 little desks that,
no
barely
camera, nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just the audio, barely held up the mics, and the mics weren't great. The audio wasn't as good as it is now. And it's like, look at all these steps. Look at what I've done in just a year, right? My goal last year was something similar. My goal for 2022 was to grow my company and build a great business and be able to, flourish. It's very similar to what I'm doing now, but hopefully now this year it'll be on an even bigger level. But I think I set realistic goals last year and I was able to achieve those small goals, right? I started my business, right? So I was able to begin my company. Once I started the company, I launched some clothing, right? So I was able to do that. And then I said, you know what? I want to do a podcast. I'd love to be able to help people that way also. So I started a podcast. I didn't know anything. I had to take these small steps to get to where I am now. And that's the truth. I was happy that I set these small, realistic goals. And I'm not saying don't set big goals.
There's a place for the big goals.
Exactly.
Like, the big goals are what help you figure out what the next little goal
Yes, exactly. Like I have a bunch of realistic goals this year. Like a few of them are, I'd love to get another 1,000 downloads per episode, right? I would love that. That's I feel a realistic goal. I also got a vision board this year. So that was part of my Christmas gift. I got a vision board. And my mom was just like, you know what? Just write out these things that you want to foresee. So on my vision board, I write bigger and more, not unrealistic, but harder to reach goals. So a few resolutions that I have with that are to reach 100,000 downloads by the end of this year, to reach 10,000 followers on Instagram, to be able to help another 50,000 people, right? And look, if I don't reach those numbers, let's say I even do half of it or a quarter of it, guess what? I still did something, right? I'm still improving towards that goal. So there's a time and a place to set these unrealistic goals.
Those are more milestones and like measuring points.
Exactly.
Than anything else, because it's more of a byproduct, and with a little bit of not luck, but like, to affect change to that many people and reach that many people, there has to be there's some element that you can't control in there too. Where,
yes.
One day it'll click, but you don't know when that is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. 100%. I think a lot of people's New Year's resolutions, a lot of time is losing weight. I feel like a lot of people have been on that same boat. You get the people who, everybody sees it when you're going to the gym. You go to the gym and it's that first 2 weeks, the gym's packed. So something like that, for those of you who are trying to lose weight, right? First off, don't go to the gym saying, oh, all I'm here for is to lose weight, right? Of course, that's going to be a byproduct of you working out and you eating healthy. But for somebody who doesn't work out on a daily basis, myself included, I'm not like a gym freak. I had to ease my way back into the gym. I was going 2 times a week. And then I started going 3 times a week. And then now I'm at 5 times a week. I slowly got to where I'm, now happy with, right? So now I'm going more consistently. This is something you guys should do if you're looking to set that goal. And look, this has to be something you want. Like, it's not something you're like, yeah, I want to lose weight, and then you don't do anything for it, which is fine too.
You have to really want what you're working for.
Yes, exactly.
Because you have to be able to show up every day.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're somebody whose New Year's resolution is to lose weight, right? Start off by going to the gym 2 days a week and having 3 healthy meals throughout the week. Doesn't even have to be 3 healthy days of eating. Just try 3 healthy meals, right? Start off something slow, because now you're telling your brain, oh, I'm doing something good, right? You can reward yourself as compared to setting something unrealistic and off the bat saying, I want to go to the gym 6 days a week and I want to eat healthy every single day. Now you don't eat healthy one day and now you're disappointed in yourself and you're like, I can't do this. I'm weak. I can't do this. There's something wrong with me, right? Where there's not. It's hard, right? It's hard to be consistent. So by growing that consistency, not just starting off out of nowhere doing it all at once, right? Because you got to ease yourself into it. And then you say, okay, the last 3 weeks I've been going to the gym 3 times a week and I've been eating healthy 3 times a week. You know what? I'm going to bump it up. I'm going to bump the gym up one day. Let's go to the gym 4 times a week and I'm going to stick with eating healthy 3 times a week. As you go on, you're much more likely to stay consistent with doing that as compared to, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 6 times a week. And then 2 weeks from now, you're going to be like, I'm burnt out. I don't want to do it because it's not something you're used to. And like I said, I'm a perfect example. Last year, I guess around March, I started going to the gym. I started doing that. I started easing into it. I would go 2 times a week, 3 times a week, and then by the time the summer came, I was going almost every day. And then I got burnt out, so I wound up slowing down. And then now, I guess I would say like a month or 2 ago, I started easing myself back into it. And now I'm going 4 or 5 times a week. I'm eating healthier. And that's all. It was just an easier process to slowly do compared to jumping right into it and smacking my face on the pavement. I'd rather, and look, that's okay also. Like, there's some things where you have to get out of your comfort zone and you have to just kind of jump right into it. But there's also certain things you don't have to. And I feel like this is one of them. Would you say you're somebody who would prefer to be jumping right into something? Or are you someone who, like I said, likes being eased into something and kind of then you could grow that consistency and be able to take control of your life and control of your goals?
It depends on the thing. If it seems to me like something I'd enjoy, I might jump all in.
Okay. Yeah.
But if it's something I know I've struggled with in the past, then I'll take my time with it.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to build up more consistently, get the ball rolling a little bit.
Yeah.
Before I kind of go all in.
Yeah.
But I think there's a time and a place for it. If you are going to go all in, you have to be willing to accept the fact that you're not going to do it perfectly.
Yeah,
100%. Maybe the first time around, first 2 weeks.
Yes.
Might take you a while to really be truly consistent with it. But as long as you keep it in mind that it's a progress or it's a process, and progress is going to only be made slowly over time.
Yeah.
Then you'll be fine, because that's the right mindset.
Yes. And also, I think it's the reason why you're doing this resolution is also a huge factor. If you're doing it for a negative reason, right? Like, let's say you don't like the way you look, right? I'm going to go to the gym because I don't like the way I look. That's not going to help you and help your brain wrap your head around doing this, right? You're going to be like, oh, I need to do this so I can look better. I can look better. Instead of doing it like that, you should rephrase your brain and say, you know what? I want to do this because I want to be healthier. I want to live longer. I want to be able to see my kids, my grandkids, whatever it is, or my cousins, my little cousins, whatever it is, you want to be making sure the reason behind it is a good reason. Otherwise, it's less motivating if you're doing it because, oh, I don't look good. I don't like how much I weigh. I don't like what other people say about me. You need to make sure you're not doing it for the wrong reason, because then that's also harder. It's also something more complicated to be doing because you're having that negative energy around you.
Also, then your self-worth kind of relies on, like,
yeah,
if you want to look better and someone says to you that you don't look good, your whole self-image comes crumbling.
Yeah, it's done. Exactly. So perfect example. I'll kind of get into my whys for my resolutions. I would definitely say my first resolution is being a healthier person, right? I'm going to continue to try and consistently go to the gym and eat healthier. And my whys are exactly that. I want to be able to live longer. I want to be able to have good gut health. I want to be able to have good mental health. I feel eating healthy and exercising has a huge effect on your mental health.
It should be 1 and 2
yes.
on everyone's priorities.
Yeah.
In reality, it's hard some days, but like if you eat good quality foods and you work out a couple times a week, you'll live so much longer, be so much happier and healthier. And it plays a huge role in how you feel about yourself,
yes,
too, and how your days go and how you respond to things.
Yeah, it's all hand in hand. And that's why I'm not looking to go to the gym and eat healthy so I can look better or I can, like myself better per se. I'm going so, like I said, I could be healthier. I could be a better me. I can feel better. My head can be clearer. There's so many things that factor into it, which I feel are super important. Another thing is my business. I'm not doing it so I can tell people, oh yeah, I have a good business. I'm doing it because I want to help people, first off. Second of all, I'm so passionate about this. I love talking to you guys. I love helping people. I love the topic of mental health, whether it's anxiety, depression, all the way down to just whatever. If you're upset about something, I'm somebody who likes helping people. So this is something important to me. I know if I get this out there, I can help more people. And that's my real reason behind everything. So the ways I'm going about everything is not in a negative light. I'm making sure everything I'm doing has a positive light behind it. Another big goal of mine this year is positivity, right? I feel like I'm a relatively positive person. I'm laughing a lot. I'm smiling a lot.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's
one of the most positive people I know.
And I try.
Yeah.
But I feel I need to be a little more positive to myself. The reason I'm doing that is another thing. It's helping my mental health. It's helping my head. I feel like I'm hard on myself. I've always been hard on myself, and I think that's why I'm driven. I think that's why I'm ambitious, and I'm always trying to better myself, which I'm not saying I don't want to stop being hard on myself, but I think I need to train myself to be a little more positive towards myself and nicer to myself. And that's another thing. The why behind that isn't because, I want, I don't even know how you can negatively spin that, but the reason
you're saying,
the reason I'm doing it is so I can improve my head and improve my health, which obviously is super important to me. Would you say there's a few big things you're really trying to do this year, and what are the reasons why behind them?
More personal things, just kind of, I want to get out, like I said before, just kind of get out on my own.
Yeah, and
like from there I can do a lot more. I want to be able to help my family a lot more. And that will come when I have the freedom and the ability to kind of move on my own. Right now I'm at home still, which is fine, but
yeah, we're young. You're 20 years old. Yeah. I'm 19. We're young. We have a lot of time.
A lot of time in front of us. But I want to be able to help my family, in certain ways that I'd be able to do more so from a better, I guess, financial position.
Yeah.
Essentially, I guess my goal is to make more money.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's more. There's more to it than just the money.
Yeah. So I guess on the surface, you would say your goal for 2023 is, to make money, which I think a lot of us have. But your reasoning behind it is, I feel, it's different.
I don't want money to just spend it on toys and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You want to help people in a sense.
Family.
It's the same thing.
For my family, yeah.
So what made you come up with that? I know you and I feel like we're both money-driven people. So I can understand it. I feel like it's something, like you said, it kind of gives you that freedom. It allows you to help more people. It allows you to not be held down by something. How do you think you're going to change that in 2023?
What do you change? What exactly do you mean? Like
making money. How are you going to be able to implement this resolution into your life?
Honestly, like creativity.
Yeah. Okay.
Just kind of like having fun with what I do, and kind of just there's like a couple things that I've been putting off for a little while that I wanted to try.
Yeah.
Or jobs or something like that, fields of work that I've wanted to try out that I'll try out and just kind of figure out exactly what I want to focus on.
Okay.
I think that's the next step.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll go from there.
And what are some small steps that you're going to do, just like we were talking about? What are these small steps that you're going to take, to get there?
I think to me, it's the little habits throughout the day. It's like getting up around the same time, going to sleep around the same time, eating well, moving around, and then whatever those other things that I have to do that day, I do most of them. Not really kind of putting anything off, because when I tend to put things off, that's when, you get stressed out and then you 100%. Don't want to do it,
Yeah.
And so if I feel like for me, if I can stick to those little things every day, then all that big stuff and the big picture will kind of get taken care of.
Yeah, it'll fall into place.
What about you? What are the smaller habits that you're focusing on?
Well, right now I've actually been editing my TikToks, so that's something I'm really trying to set a schedule with. Same thing with recording. I'm trying to set a schedule where I get these things done and it's not going to be pushed off, if that makes sense. And same thing. So I'm actually getting my real estate license right now.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And sometimes it's annoying. It's like sometimes I don't feel like sitting there and doing this course, and I'm like, I really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But the last, I gave myself the Christmas break from Christmas Eve to the day after New Year's. I gave myself that break to take a break from it. But I have to finish it by April, so I'm doing a chapter a day for the next, say, 30 days. I think it's only like 35 chapters, but the chapters are long. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, they take time.
Yeah, it's like you have to have 75 hours within the course.
But it takes you longer than 75
Oh,
hours.
Yeah.
A lot longer.
Yes. So it's like you have to also pass a quiz at the end of every chapter, otherwise you can't go on to the next chapter.
Don't you have to get everything right, too?
Yeah. Or like 90%, 80%, something like that. But it's only, say, 15 questions. You get 2 wrong, you're screwed. So that's another thing. I guess on a grander scale, it would be prioritizing my scheduling. Because I'm still trying to implement going to the gym, recording, editing. I have work on top of that. And then school's going to be starting back up. So it's like I don't have a lot of time, but I have a lot of things that I need to do. I guess really time managing. Making sure I'm not sitting on my phone and scrolling. And I think that's another thing I'm going to get into for a resolution.
Yeah, but another thing I've noticed too, I've been around people, and I'm sure you have your dad as an example too, where they just have so much going on that whatever they have to do is not getting done that day. It's not getting done this week. It's not getting done this month.
Yes.
They just have too much going on. And what I've noticed is they just kind of get up every day. They do what they can. And when it's time to go home and be with their family, they cut it off. They go home with their family.
Yeah.
And like that's, to me, that's what I've realized has made a huge difference is like you kind of cut out those little distractions and you don't worry about what has to get done. You just kind of go with what's next on the list.
Yeah, I think that's super important. And yeah, I think you're right. I think my dad is a perfect example of that. He has a relatively big business, so he's working all the time. But yeah, there's things you just can't get done in a day.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of things.
Yeah.
So I think you're 100% right. Sometimes we have the answers right in front of us and sometimes we can't see it. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure that I am optimizing my day to do the most I can. And this is something that means a lot to me, so I want to obviously prioritize it, and this comes first other than everything else. I prioritize this the most. If I can get to my real estate, I do. If I can get to, working, whatever it is, I do, but I prioritize this first. Another resolution that I want to talk about is social media. My goal is to get down my social media usage. I feel like I'm scrolling a lot and I don't like it. So I think every day from now on, I'm going to start just an hour or 30 minutes less a day, right? So let's say if I'm on it for 3 or 4 hours, I'll be on it for 3.5 hours. Or if I'm sitting there in the morning when I wake up scrolling, I'll scroll for 30 minutes less, than I normally do. Or even if I do 15 minutes a day and every day, I'd love to eventually get down to not even have to be on my phone. So that's something that, yes, that is a larger goal, of course, right? You guys are probably like, oh, well, didn't you say you don't want to set these unrealistic goals? Of course, right? But I'm going to be taking these small steps to get there. I'm not going to be just jumping from having my phone on me at 24/7 to now never on my phone, right? That's not realistic. And I don't want to be unrealistic. I'm on my phone. You're on your phone. Everybody in our generation is on their phone. So it's like, it's something you have to work around. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I want to make sure that I can live without it. I don't need to rely on it. So I don't know how you feel with that. I feel like you're relatively good with that stuff.
Yeah. I've made a point of recent to kind of not be on my phone as much. In terms of just kind of scrolling. Yeah. I'm on it when I need to be.
Okay.
But other than that, I kind of like being present.
Yeah. Yes. And I feel like you are 100%. Now, do you have any resolutions with baseball? And any steps you're going to take to work towards those?
The biggest one for me right now, the next step is just eating. Okay. So I have to put some weight on. So I've been every day, I try and have, by certain times throughout the day, I try and eat a certain amount.
Okay.
And those are my little steps. If I can do that 6 out of every 7 days, the next couple months, then I'll be up more in weight. And I continue to throw and I do all of that stuff, but that's more so. I feel like you just have to stay consistent with stuff like that. Once you get into a rhythm.
Yeah, 100%. Would you say consistency for 2023 is something you're striving for?
Ultimately, that's probably what I guess my goal. Okay. My main goal would be just being more consistent.
And would you say, as of right now, you're a consistent person or not really?
I'm a little all over the place sometimes. Okay.
Yeah, I think we all are a little bit.
It's hard to be 100% perfect, without sacrificing in some other area.
Yeah.
Too. And that's the thing is another thing about these New Year's resolutions is it's change. You have to be willing to make the change.
Yes.
And if you think that nothing is going to change, you're going to have to be giving up some stuff.
Yeah.
And it might not be what you really thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Exactly.
But sometimes that's what makes it worth it.
Yes.
Is what you're giving up in return.
Totally. Even this time last year, what is it, January? Well, it's beginning of January. And
Cinco.
This time last year was actually 2 weeks before I launched my website. So actually, I'm going to kind of get into that. So this is kind of the whole birth of everything. I kind of really strived for this last year. This was pretty much one of my biggest, I guess I would say, resolutions. It started a little before New Year's, but it was kind of like my 2022 goal. I set this, I guess I would say, in October. So I started out in college. I was an engineering and computer science major.
How far you've come.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so it was about October, November, and I knew I wanted to do something with mental health. I knew I wanted to create. I've always wanted to do something with clothes. I've always wanted to do something creative. So I came up with Dark Angel, and this was around November, and I kind of had to make this decision. I was like, am I going to stop what I'm doing? Am I going to stop engineering? Because engineering and computer science. I was double majoring. Takes a lot of time out of your day.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I want to spend all my time there or spend all my time doing something that I really enjoy and, I can help people? So I made that decision then and there, and before you know it, January comes along or I guess December, and I was like, I think I'm really going to do this. And that was my resolution. My resolution was to not sell myself short and to do something that I enjoy. And I feel like I really did. I feel
Take
like
a chance on yourself.
Exactly. And I did it. And now here we are, right? So you can set these goals, and my goal was to have a great company, have people who support me, have people who love what I'm doing. And I would say I've accomplished that, right?
Absolutely.
In a year.
Yeah.
So great. That was a great stepping stone. But exactly.
Would you say that you reached your goal from last year?
That's a great question.
Because I feel like we set the goals, but we never really ever go back and check
Yeah,
them out.
exactly. That's a great reason why I got a vision board. Because I want to visualize these goals. I want to see
it every
exactly. Day. And every morning I wake up, my vision board is literally right in my face. But did we reach our goal? I would say I set a little more unrealistic goal from the start. I feel like when anybody's trying to start anything, you kind of convince yourself like, oh, this is going to be awesome. There's nothing that can go wrong.
It's going to be so much easier than you think.
Yes. And I was very wrong. So, no, I guess I didn't reach my goal, but it was super unrealistic. And that's the thing I learned. I learned not everything happens overnight. I learned how to get over these things, right? I was disappointed a bunch. I'd be like, oh, what's going on? Why didn't this blow up? We're on the age of TikTok where everything blows up. And I thought it was going to be easy. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was.
It's an awesome idea. You love it.
I do.
It's almost like you kind of assume everyone's going to love it.
Yes.
And I feel like that's the part that is, like, it's hard to communicate that to other people sometimes.
Yes.
Like, they don't fully see what you see.
Exactly. And that's what I had to learn. So I guess that would have been probably one of my biggest New Year's resolution failures and victories in the same breath, because I set this goal right around then and I was like, this is going to do amazing. This is going to be, ginormous by the time next year. And compared to what it was, it's huge, in comparison to where I was a year ago. But on a large scale, of course not.
That's the way to go, though. It's like in comparison to yourself.
Exactly.
Like if you're doing a X amount more than yesterday.
Yeah.
To me, that's what's worked.
Yes.
Because when you go comparing yourself to others, like, no one kind of starts off in the same place.
Yeah.
And everyone's goals are a little bit different.
Yes.
And so when you start comparing, that's when you kind of get discouraged. The athletes on TV are an example, right? Everyone wants to be, Michael Jordan or Kobe or LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or
yes.
Tom Brady.
Exactly.
But what Tom Brady wanted and what Kobe wanted, what LeBron wanted, might be completely different than what you want.
Yes.
And like the same goes for you and the guy next door to you.
Yes.
And so that's why it's kind of hard to compare where you are to someone else who's doing something similar but not exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, and I think it really kind of puts everything into perspective. Does that change anything? Would I go back and change a thing? Not even close. I would do this every time. If I got to go back in time to where I thought of this idea, I would go back every time and do it all over again. No doubt in my mind. But that's the thing. I've set these goals and I've set these expectations where at first, of course, they were unrealistic. I've never started a business. I never did a podcast. I never ran an Instagram, so I had to learn these things, and now I feel my expectations are a lot more realistic. I realize the work you have to put in, and I realize that it really is a grind, it's like, but it's fun. I love it. I love it. I love the journey. I love having you on. I love having all these guests on. It's amazing. So, with that being said, all these goals that you have or these resolutions that you're just trying to better yourself, or take a chance on yourself. Don't sell yourself short. It's very easy to doubt yourself and not have faith in yourself. But if you kind of just give yourself a second and trust yourself and, take a chance, you're not going to be upset you did.
And have a deeper reason for why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to share it with anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But, like,
yes.
Make it more than just about an accolade to show off.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, make it, you want to help people. You want to help as many people as you can.
Yes.
That's that deeper reason. That's what's going to get you up every
day.
It
even goes deeper in the aspect of, I've struggled with this stuff. So it's like, I'm someone who puts on that fake smile, or used to. I wouldn't say I'm like that as much anymore, but I put on that fake smile. I would struggle with this stuff, and it's like, oh, how could he be going through it? It's like everybody, there's no rhyme or reason to, who's going through it. Anybody really can. And that's the whole reason I started it. My goal was for people to realize that they're not alone. And I feel like
be for someone what you wish you had.
Exactly.
When you were going through
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like hopefully I've done a good job at that, and I hope people have related, and that's really my goal.
They have.
Yeah.
People have told you they have,
Yes, exactly.
And hopefully it gets bigger.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's all we can do. We can push, we can put the work in, and your New Year's resolution, it can be as small as I want to make sure I water the plants every day, right? Or it could be as big as I want to have the biggest company in the world. And you can put that work in, and it's so possible. It's so possible to do. You just got to take the steps to get there.
And enjoy it too.
Yes. Exactly.
It's this, or you kind of get stuck in the same place.
Yeah.
And that's no fun either.
It's not.
So you pick which one's going to suck.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you just, to me, it's more worth it to go through a little bit of it now.
Yes.
And end up getting something remotely close to what I want.
Yeah.
Rather than kind of just sitting around.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And like, I'm going to look back at all this stuff and be like, wow, like 5 years from now, we have zero idea where we'll be, right? We'll have zero idea how many New Year's resolutions we'll set and how many things we'll try and achieve. And look, maybe we'll achieve none of them, or we'll achieve everything we want and more, right? We have zero idea. But
what's happening tomorrow?
Exactly. But by setting these small steps and these resolutions every day, if you try and better yourself just a little bit every single day, picture where you'll be at in 5 years or even a year, right? These are the things that I'm talking about. You have to kind of see it come to fruition. It's not going to happen just by happening. You have to make it happen. I'm not sure if there's anything else you would like to touch on. Is there anything?
No? I feel like that was pretty good.
Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed yet again, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the new layout of the room. We still have some more things coming. We're going to be getting new cameras soon and stuff like that. So
actually, and one more thing too is like with the new year, if there's anything that you happen to be struggling with in your resolutions too, send it in, and maybe, it can be a topic.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. All we want to do is help you guys and get it out there. So thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate all of the support. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. You could check our Instagram, YouTube. Everything is posted everywhere. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening, and don't forget to check out Dark Angel Company on Instagram at Dark Angel Co. and online at darkangelco.com. If you're interested in supporting and spreading awareness towards bringing light to a dark topic together, then tune in next time.